Progress.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Electric Power Board meeting here on Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. We'll start with our consent agenda, and for that, I need a recommendation for approval of minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting held December 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I motion we approve minutes.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The minutes are approved. Now I'd like to turn to probably the most important item on our agenda, which is a storm update from Teresa and Brent. I'll turn it over to you.
Certainly, thank you, Madam Chair. You are well aware, I'm sure, that we made significant modifications to the agenda for this meeting to focus somewhat solely on storm restoration and eliminated a lot of the other things that were otherwise going to be on the agenda for approval so we can get back to focusing on our storm recovery efforts. And I want to thank our customers for their patience and support during this challenging event. It's been a painful time to be without power with the temperatures being as low as they are. We recognize that. We're very sympathetic. We have a lot of people within our ranks that are without power also. With the extent of the damage and the number of trees down over our service territory, we knew this was not going to be a quick restoration. I'm hearing that our field crews are largely being met by kind customers who are grateful for their hard work and service, and for that I am incredibly grateful to our customers. As for our employees, I have seen steadfast commitment to restoring power to our customers. It's a high-stress time and has been an all-hands-on-deck endeavor as we onboard large number of contractors and have crews working at all hours of the day outside in cold temperatures for 14 to 16-hour shifts. I cannot be more grateful for those efforts and continued dedication, along with sheer determination and passion for getting our customers restored. We're also very grateful to the overwhelming support offered by other utilities and contract partners. We've been able to receive crews, materials, and other support from. This was an ice storm of historic proportions. It was not only an intense storm that left a thick coat of ice on everything in our service territory. The storm brought with it some unique all areas of our service territory. No areas seemed spared at all. In addition to having the most significant ice event we have endured since the 1994 ice storm, we had high winds that followed this storm that lasted for quite some time, taking down substantial amount of trees all on its own. That combination of circumstances resulted in our having the highest percentage of customers out of power from one weather event on record for NES. The large amount of tree debris has made it difficult and dangerous for our crews to work. In some cases, limbs and sometimes whole trees are falling while they're trying to get their work done, creating a dangerous situation. They also have had trees falling on lines, which is a bit disheartening to them as they're trying to restore power. In addition to the roads being icy, many roads were substantially blocked following the storm, making it difficult, very difficult at times for crews to get where they needed to be. Another challenge has been that not all of our underground location services have been working due to the inclement weather. We made a decision to not let that hold up any restorations. Instead, crews have been proceeding cautiously and working directly with the other utilities who may have infrastructure on the ground to try to identify those hazards. Not having the underground location services done in a timely fashion means that we risk digging into someone else's infrastructure unintentionally while trying to set poles. The water department has been wonderful in giving us dedicated resources to assist. Accidentally digging into a gas line could be dangerous for our crews. So we've been proceeding with caution, and that is a concern for us. I want to thank the mayor and his team for their support. They've provided an incredible amount of assistance. NDOT has been very helpful. They've been clearing streets so we can reach areas that need service. The City of Brentwood and City of Forest Hills have also stepped up and cleared roads so that we can reach downed lines. We've also worked closely with council members, OEM, the fire department, police department. They've all been very helpful. I also want to thank Vice Chair Santos, who's been very engaged during the storm and provided us some suggestions that we've incorporated into our storm response efforts. With this event, more contract crews have been integrated into the restoration efforts than ever before at NES. When we bring on contract crews, we can't just set them loose on our system and tell them to fix things. With the various voltages and complex structures on our system, we have to partner and pair them with technical resources on the NES side to ensure they understand our system structure, that they can get proper clearances, and that they know how to work safely on our system. They also will have questions. To allow us to be able to take on even more contract crews, TVA is partnering with us to provide engineers for our assessment teams so that we can free up additional people to oversee these contract crews. So we are appreciative of their stepping up in that fashion to assist. There are so many more organizations and individuals that have been of assistance to us that there are too many to name. However, we are appreciative of these various partners and appreciate the support. I'm going to turn it over to Brent to discuss some of our operational stats and activities during our ongoing efforts.
You bet, yeah. So first and foremost, I want to start with our customers. We've heard from customers, and we know that many are frustrated right now. We understand being without power is a significant hardship, and our crews are working around the clock to navigate that complex damage and issues that are being faced. We are fully committed and will remain fully committed to restoring service safely and quickly as possible for everyone that has been affected. The storm has challenged at a scale, as Teresa mentioned, that we don't often see. And preparing for a widespread event like this, we worked with our mutual aid partners ahead of the storm to get 200 crews ready on Saturday. As the storm rolled through and others around our region knew that they were not going to need the resources, they began sending those resources over at our request, and that's how we are now up to 900 line workers and 215 vegetation crew members now deployed across our service area. Every utility was holding on to crews in anticipation of the storm, and as soon as damage was known from their system, they began to release crews to us. When historic storms hit, utilities face two different kinds of challenges. For a large urban area such as ours, we faced a scale challenge. How to safely stabilize, mobilize, and restore across a massive network and complex network is what we were faced with. This was a scale event. Our system experienced widespread damage across transmission lines, substations, and distribution networks. In those conditions, restoration is not a single action. It's a disciplined progression. We follow the three-phase approach that is common in large-scale events like this in urban areas. We have to stabilize the system, begin to scale, and accelerate. In the first phase of stabilization, our priority was securing critical infrastructure. We focused on those priority substations, transmission lines, hospitals, water system infrastructure, and emergency services. Before thousands of crews can work safely, the backbone of the system must be stable. That work is not always visible, but it's essential to the safe and effective restoration. Within the first 24 hours, crews worked to stabilize the system and were met with the widespread damage. We saw just how ice and freezing rain impacted trees and other vegetation throughout our service area. This hindered our progress, hindered our access, and our response. Once we understood the full scope of the damage, which we're still understanding, we moved into the second phase, which is scaling our workforce. Over the first 62 hours of the storm, we have increased our line workers by more than 430%. We're now up to 900 of our line workers, plus an additional 215 vegetation management team members and growing. We will not stop until we have all of the resources here safely working. The level of mobilization requires mutual aid, logistics, oversight from safety, housing, materials, and coordination across hundreds of different work sites. Scaling is not just about adding crews, it's about integrating them safely and effectively into a complex system. We're transitioning into the third phase of acceleration, but we will continue to scale as we see that acceleration. With the system stabilized and crews fully mobilized, restoration should speed up. Since outages peaked at 230,000, we have now restored power to about 108,000 customers. And the pace of restoration continues to increase. We are also working hard to replace 300 poles that were damaged. It's natural to compare different storms and different experiences, but we have to account for the scale and complexity. It's our responsibility, and our responsibility in this storm is to get to the scale we need and to continue to restore. I want to also take a moment to recognize the men and women in the field. There are people working 24 hours a day, and they are dedicated to getting your power on, just like we all are. They are working safely and making sure that they can do that in a way that keeps you all safe as well. Finally, I want to be clear about our commitment. We will continue to scale resources, accelerate restoration, and communicate transparently with our customers and our communities. We'll be updating the community with more information and transparency about where we are in the restoration process. As we have mentioned each day, the growing number of crews, we will continue to update on that. We have started to get even more specific about the different areas of town we are working. We are going to provide more information there. We understand that customers need that information, and we are going to begin doing more and focusing on that. As we continue to grow as well, the different resources that are coming to our community, we will be bringing more and more on and working with all of those partners across our region and across the country. We have people from 7 different states at least that are working on our system, and we will continue to grow that. I just want to thank everybody who is working, all of our customers for the patience, and we will continue to progress and update you as often as we can. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for that report. I too will echo your thanks to our customers and say that we all appreciate the frustration that our customers have with being without power in this really cold climate. And we thank you for your patience and hope you understand we are doing everything we can to get your power back on. So we appreciate your patience. We appreciate your kindness to your neighbors. We appreciate also your kindness to our hardworking staff and linemen who are out there in the field. And thank you to those who have been kind to them and given them a thank you for their hard and dangerous work. And then thank you to everyone here at NES. This is not just people in the field. This is people at this table and people in this room who are working around the clock. And we'll continue to work and are committed to that. Do I have any other comments from board members?
Yeah, I guess I will comment. First of all, I would say, again, thank you to the linemen and to the teams here that are working tirelessly to get this turned around. I think I do have just a couple of questions or comments for the organization. I think one is that we have been, this is definitely an extreme experience for everybody. And when there are extreme experiences, we have to kind of shift the rule book. And I would love to hear a little bit about what we're doing in this moment and how we're thinking about, for instance, what is the plan to continually find more people, and when will those people get here? Talk to us a little bit about that, what that looks like in your kind of projections, because at the rates people are dropping, the rates, the number of customers being restored, it's going to take a while. And if we can, I know you're doing a lot, but could you please just share a little more detail of where are we expanding past 7 states? Are there skill sets that we're talking to other agencies, additional conversations that are happening? Because every minute is critical, right?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Yep. So as far as removing red tape, that has been done for us through different declarations within our own organization. Getting contracts signed and getting qualified crews here has been part of our process. We're onboarding more new contractors today than we have done before. And so as we get those numbers, we will continue to ramp. Those are making their way over, and they are within a close proximity. So we are not having to go far. Our mutual aid partners are reaching out and other utilities that are close by. So we are doing what it takes to ramp up and to safely scale. As we do that safe scaling, we want to make sure that anybody that comes here is also working in a way that is effective and safe, but we are doing that at a quick rate.
And are we working across every level? So you mentioned the city, but I think there's collaboration with the state and with federal. Imagine we're doing work in that space. Correct.
Both TEMA has offered up support and has provided us resources, and we are working through TEMA's resources to get to have those here as well as any other resource, TVA and federal as well.
Just one, you mentioned that you had eliminated any red tape. I want to be clear about whether there are any financial constraints to the work that we're doing as we ramp up.
There's been no consideration to financial constraints. We, in most cases, with this being declared a federal disaster, we would receive partial reimbursement through FEMA also. And I had a meeting with FEMA the other day to just discuss what resources are available to help us with storm restoration. And there was no discussion about potential reimbursement, but that's not really a concern at this point. We just want to get power back on. So, yeah, we're holding back nothing. Wherever we have to get materials, crews, the cost is not a concern.
Can you talk a little bit about TVA and how they're existing?
The TVA's been, they've been a good partner so far. They've offered up resources to assist us. We have to send scout teams out to assess damage ahead of the cruise, and we have to have people to that know our system to oversee these contract crews. And TVA has volunteered to send engineers to assist us with scout teams, which is freeing up our own people to oversee more of the contract crews. And I think we've had additional assistance from them.
Yeah.
Brent, are you aware of
Yeah,
other things they've done?
So I'll speak on that just a little bit on assessment teams and why that matters. To scale appropriately, we need to be able to divide up our people that have more visibility into our system to be able to make people work safely, help them work safely. That's where TVA is helping us multiply our workforce. The other areas they are helping, they are providing some vegetation help as well, some of their crews that can do that. So we are combining on any effort that we can to be able to make our effort more expedient. There are other options in play that we are trying to figure out just the way that we can help the community the best, but their resources are here in town helping us do that, and we will use any opportunity we have to help the community.
Okay. And then I think the one other question, and we've talked about this, but I want to really make sure we understand. We have 900 people right now who are scaling. You've mentioned challenges. I think if you could just help us understand why it's unique for us versus our other neighbors that have similar size, fewer outages and similar size sources. I know there's complexity. Could you just explain that a little more?
Yeah, so the fact that we are in an urban area, our circuits do overlap significantly, and our distance to be able to work safely in a de-energized space requires a little bit more complexity. As we move through this, ensuring that everybody is safe is paramount. So as we look at the community and get these resources in, we want to make sure we have people paired up to be able to work safely. We spent some time overnight getting more of that system cleared so that people can work with fewer supervision from NES to be able to make progress quickly.
So we have a person from NES with every crew that understands the complexity of our circuits. So every time we bring in a crew, we have to make sure those crews have someone that knows our system.
That is correct.
And that's not the case in other places.
I think oftentimes in areas where you can have more clear line of sight, to have a longer area that you can work, you can let people work a little bit more without that direct visible oversight.
Okay. I think the other thing is, are there things that we're doing for customers that you're not able to recover them, but provide them aid of some way? You know, like how are we thinking about temporary solutions and things like that?
So we have partnered with Metro to make sure there are the warming centers to be able to get everybody. The mayor's done a great job of standing up the different fire departments, police departments, and other Metro facilities to make sure people that need warming shelters or other energy needs, that they have those access. I know the police and fire are transporting people and making sure transportation is not the issue. As far as other things, that's some of the stuff we're working with TVA on whether we can be able to also facilitate other support that is not common, and that's some of the stuff that is to be developed that we are working through today.
Any other comments from the other board members? Thoughts?
I just, for me, Brent, if you can just clear up, how we have corrected the glitch, in people being notified that their power was on, and then getting back to their homes and realizing that the power is back not on,
So that speaks to the kind of complexity of the system and the restoration. When our lines may have normally had 2,000 to 3,000 customers on them, there are times that we are having to peel off 300. to be able to do the work to get a greater amount restored. In that notification is going to those customers. We have stopped some of those from happening, and so we will make sure that customers are not getting those text messages when they do not have power. We also last night did send out a message to customers that are still without power and providing more information.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you all very much, and thank the board members for their comments and questions too. Our discussion items we'll move to, and that's a recommendation for approval of purchases. I'll turn that over to David.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Davis. So bringing forward about $24.1 million of purchases and contract additions to approve. Please note this includes about $4.4 million of contract additions that were approved between $50,000 and $250,000 throughout the month by management. So we ask that you ratify that as well. A pretty expansive report. Obviously, we're trying to procure lots of material. We have about 23 sole source items and 10 sole brand items. Won't go through those individually. I'll just say those are related to either operational necessity, original equipment manufacturer compatibility, and then standardization requirements, just to avoid any unacceptable operational safety, reliability, or just practicality issues. All items except for those that fall under professional services had the opportunity for competition. Happy to answer any questions, but we recommend the approval of the items in your board packet.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Public comment period, I guess we have no.
Yeah, Chair Davis, we did not receive any public comment requests for people who are here to speak.
Okay, so now we will recess this board meeting and recess to our Civil Service Board meeting, where we will start with a consent agenda with a recommendation for approval of minutes of the Civil Service meeting held December 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I so move.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That is all we need to do on that agenda. We'll adjourn the Civil Service Board meeting and reconvene to ratify actions taken by the Civil Service Board. Do we need a motion to ratify? And so do I have a motion to ratify?
A motion we ratify.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn the Electric Power Board meeting, thanking everyone and everyone proceeding with doing all they can to get power back on.
Yes,
Thank you
and
so much.
Thank you to the crews, and please, we are very, thankful for all you're doing to try to get our community back up.
Yeah, and I would say I've heard some anecdotes of people offering donuts and coffee to the crews, and I think even a kind word to our crews would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. We're adjourned. We don't